What's up, everybody? Yes, indeed, I am back, and today I'm gonna elaborate a little bit on the heated debate between Dubs and Gunner. And the only reason why I'm doing this is because one of my audience members requested me to do it, and I actually seen part of it. You know what I mean? Because I was watching it. But 8:30 lights out for me, baby. That's ain't nothing changed. I ain't changing for anybody. That's my program. That's my rutina. So I'm gonna stick to it. And that's why I do what I do today. I'm a person that's reliable and someone that you could count on at any given time of the day. I don't have to get ready. Why? Because I stay ready. Well, anyways, people. So I'm gonna address alcoholism, man. For those of you that aren't familiar with alcoholism, it is a disease, but according to American medical people, they believe that it is also an addiction, and I'll get into detail what it is, because I suffered with alcoholism for many years, and I'll give you a quick little breakdown of the way I was. But first and foremost, man, let's make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, hit the notification bell, put it on all, share this channel. Let's get it up to 10,000 subscribers. And for those of you that are just now tuning in, this is a fitness channel with a twist, and today the twist is going to be me elaborating on the heated debate between Gunner and Dubs. And yeah, they were drinking. That's what they do. So anyways, people, with that being said, if you want to get started in your fitness journey, shoot me a DM. There you go, High Power Fitness. Go check out my Instagram. It's high_power_fitness_, or you could email me at highpowerfitness@yahoo.com. I have years and years of material there. I have transformations from team members. I have testimonials from team members and non-team members as well. I even have some starter meals that you could get started with. So, with that being said, let's jump on this topic of alcoholism. Okay, back in 1956, according to the American Medical Association, they classified this as a disease. And the reason why they classified it as a disease is because it does mind-altering, it sends mind-altering effects to your brain that causes you to drink more and more, even though you have negative outcome behind it. So your brain keeps going, on as far as it being an addiction, that's another way of putting it as well. For sure that the more and more you drink, the consequences get worse for you. But you keep doing it, knowing the negative outcome of alcoholism, of drinking, consuming alcohol. That's the addiction part. So in 1987, the American Medical Association, they decided to make it a disease slash addiction. And the reason is, we know why. It can be very harmful to our lives, and a lot of times we want to quit, but we can't. It's hard. And that's to bring me to when I was an alcoholic. I'm gonna give you just a quick rundown because I don't want to bore you guys with this. This is the way my week started, people. Monday morning, I'm the average Joe, going to work, truck driver, full-time truck driver, delivering insulation. Back in the day, one of my first trucking jobs. Well, anyways, I'd get to work, boom, do my thing. And I was always good at driving big rigs, man. So I would finish my route early. I'd call my lady, which is my wife. We'd meet up at the park right there in my neighborhood. She'd bring me a 6-pack of Tecate. I'd still keep in mind I would still be in my my work truck with barbecue. You know what I mean? Take a 2-hour lunch because I wouldn't take no breaks or lunches during my run. I wanted to just get in there, smash, and get it done and get it over with. So, long story short, with barbecue, and I drink a 6-pack of Pisto. Keep in mind, I still had my big rig with me. You know what I mean? And this is my mentality of it. This is the disease part of it. Okay. In my mind, I figured it would be safe because all I would have to do is jump on the on-ramp, and the very next off-ramp was my exit to get to my job. So I figured a 6-pack ain't nothing, especially coming from the background that I come from. Man, I was a drinker. So, boom. barbecued in, 6-pack down, go clock out. Of course, park my truck and all that. Never had to sweep it out or anything because we hauled insulation. It didn't really have to be a clean vehicle. And most of the time I was pulling a flatbed. So anyways, go clock out, jump in my ride. Back in the day, I had me it was a 96 GT Mustang that I bought. Had AME Excellence. For those of you that are familiar with AME Excellence, they were brought over by the homie that used to run the original tint shop. Brought them over from Japan. Pair of 18-inch rims back then, $4,500. So you had to be a baller back then, and I was classified as one of those persons. I still worked, but also, I was a hustler. Come on, I grew up in the hood. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's here nor there. You know what I mean? That was back in the day, and it is what it is. That's my past. So anyways, clock out, go to the store, which would be right down the street. I'd buy me a Kawama. For those of you that don't know what a Kawama is, it's, 40 ounce, 32 ounce, 40 ounce. And it was Tecate. Tecate was my beer back then. Now I'd buy me 2 little shooters, a Cuervo Especial. Boom. Jump on the freeway, right there off of 7th Street. Head home. Down that Kawama. Down them little shooters before I even get on the freeway. Quick little shots. Toss them out the window. Yes, I'm a little bug. Back then I was. And drink my Kawama. And as soon as I would exit off of my exit to get off, I would toss that Kawama out the window. Guaranteed. This was Monday through Friday, okay? Now, once I get to my pad, getting close to my pad right there on X-Line and Cogswell, I would pull over and grab me a 12-pack, a Tecate with a half pint of Cuervo Especial. Now, I did this routine here Monday through Thursday, okay? That was guaranteed. When Friday would come, the same rutina. 6-pack at work, 2 shots after work, a Kawama. But this time, when I was hitting the tienda right there on X-Line in Cogswell, across the street from the little place where they make some bomb-ass tacos at. Well, back in the day, they used to. It's a new place. They still make some bomb-ass Mexican food right there. Boom, pull up right there. I would pick me up. Now, what would be instead of a half pint, I would pick me up not a fifth, the next one, a liter, with a case of Tecate. That was my Friday. Friday come out, and I would drink that solo bolo. You know what I mean? And my wife might have had maybe 1 or 2 pisos back then, but me, I was a drinker. I drank so much, I would drink myself sober, people. So that would carry on until Saturday. Saturday, same rutina. Go to the tienda early in the morning, pick up, reload for the day. And this isn't counting throughout the day when me and my lady would make trips to go visit people. Because no matter where I went, I had a 12-pack sitting right behind me with my back seat tilted down just in case if I got pulled over by the Juras, I could throw my, my pistol in the trunk. And they would never know. I was one of them believers that if you put a penny underneath, you can't give the breathalyzer won't test you because you got a penny in your mouth. I believed in all that bullshit. That shit don't work though. But anyways, what does work is staying sober, people. Straight up. So anyways, that carried on into Saturday. And then Sunday would come along, same thing. And I would repeat this over and over. And then one year, I hit a really bad year, man. I ended up catching a case, went away for a while, came home. And when I came home, I ended up losing like 5 people that were real close to me in 1 year, so I did what I know how to do best, was go straight to the bottle. But this time I was just drinking straight tequila, drinking a liter. That's a liter is 2/5, people, by myself every day with pisto on the side. I was killing myself. I'm surprised I'm alive today because I've always used to tell my wife I'm going to die of cirrhosis of the liver. Knowing the consequences of it, that was the addiction part, because I kept on drinking and didn't give a fuck. And the mind-altering part, that makes you make poor decisions, that's the disease part because it affects the brain, the way you believe and the way you think. See, that's the differentiation between the addiction and a disease. Okay, so I did that for many years and I was blessed. I was arrested. I wasn't arrested, I was rescued. I caught another case. I went away. But I'm not going to bore you guys no more with this, man. That was just a little glimpse of why I wanted to share with you guys, because this is to bring me to Dubs and Gunner. I know Mr. Dubs and Gunner, I don't know them personally, like, hey, what's up, you will never got like hugs or anything like that, or shake vices or anything like that. I know them through social media, okay? So this is the only type of relationship I had with them. As far as I could see, those are some good people right there, you know. Whatever people try to, whatever jackets they try to put on them, I'm not going to apply any energy to go do research on that. Why? Because it doesn't affect my life at all. You feel me? I know Dubs was a lifer, former lifer. He got out. He had to do what he had to do to get out. Yeah, I know a lot of people try to say that he did this, and that. But to me, that's all hearsay, and I really don't give a shit. You know, because I'm not playing them games. I'm out here in the real world where real shit counts. You know what I mean? As far as Gunner, yes, I know he's deemed no good. The word on the curb, like Gunner would say, is because of red on red. And I'm familiar with, to a certain extent, with the politics from the guys up north. They're very militant and very, I should say, where I would come from, very petty when it comes to things. You know, unlike the Southerners, you know, homies get away with a lot of shit. We got it good. You know, of course, though, when we're disciplined, they're a lot more severe. You know what I mean? The punishment is, the severity is a lot worse. So that I could say, you know what I mean? And as far as the political side, you're only allowed to know what you're allowed to know. Politics go way deeper than a lot of these people on social media believe it is, okay? So it goes really, really deep. You know, just because I kick it with a certain group while I'm in there, I understand a certain part of the political side of what we're enforcing, okay? But it goes bigger and beyond that. And some things aren't meant for everybody's ears. You know what I mean? Especially if you're not at that level. It's best not to even get involved with it. Why? Because it's none of your business, unless you're part of that business. Well, anyways, I jump all over the place. That's what this individual right here does. Let's get to Gunner and Mr. Dubs. I was actually watching that. They got in a heated debate over Canelo and another fighter. I'm not up to date on boxing nowadays, because most of that fucking shit is for the fucking birds, man. After the De La Hoya and all that, and Don King got his hands on the fingers, everything started being like fucking bootleg, man, like fix. So I lost love for boxing. I mean, I love boxing and shit, but it's not the same like what I used to do back in the fucking Cesar Chavez days. Tapia, fucking, what's that cat from fucking Nuevo Mexico? Man, that fool he was bad too. Bad at, I can't think of his name right now. He actually OD'd on coca. That fool was with the business. Yeah, there were some badass fighters back in the day. But anyways, that's here nor there. So anyways, alcoholism plays a different role in every person. You know what I mean? I'm not here to be a person of judgment, because what I consider an alcoholic, the next person may not. You know, in my eyes, somebody that could drink sociable, and on a once in a while basis, I don't consider them alcoholics. But now if you get a person that drinks on a regular basis, every day, after work, after every meal, even if whether it's a cup of wine or not, I would consider that an alcoholic. Because this dude, it's became a habit to him. It's part of his lifestyle to a certain extent. Now, if he keeps on going and going, or, you know, because there are people that can have their wine. I remember my wife's grandpa, he would always have a glass of wine, and this man lived to be like 100 in his hundreds. You know what I mean? This man is, you know, he was really healthy, and he would always have a glass of wine. They say wine is good for you. You know what I mean? Too much of anything will be bad for you, no matter what. Even if it's good for you, but too much of it, it's gonna do more harm than good. So anyways, people, yes, I do ramble on a lot. I heard the individuals, they were getting heated. Now, if I didn't know any better, I'm going to give my opinion, I would have felt some tension there between them two. But knowing that I know the relationship between those two, I saw nothing wrong with it. This is something like a homie thing, because in all reality, what Dub said is true. That's his brother. He called him his brother. They've met in real person. They've chopped it up. They've toured wherever they toured. I remember Gunner picked them up one time, and yeah, they went around town and doing whatever they did. So they got a relationship that goes beyond social media. So when I seen them fighting, I laugh about it. You feel me? I don't comment in the comment. To me, it's a couple of homies over there fucking getting mad at one another. And if they were right there with one another, they might fucking, take flight on one another. I mean, that's the way it always ended up where I come from. You know what I mean? I'm just calling that how I see it. I don't know if that's the way they would have got down, but but it would have been a friendly fight. You know what I mean? They would have got down and just shook visas and drank another pisto. Let's keep in mind, people, let's keep it real here, 100%. I don't care who you are and how much you think you could drink. When a person starts consuming alcohol, you get very loose at the lips. You get comfortable. Now that part is the disease that attacks the brain, because you normally do things that you wouldn't do if you were sober. In other words, you don't really think. You just roll comfortably and let everything roll off of your tongue. As a matter of fact, it's actually, it can be a good thing if you're trying to get something out of a person, because they could really tell you their feelings, how they really feel. You know what I'm saying? Hear these cats? All that noise and birdie moving. I don't understand these cats. They think they're racers. It's funny. But anyways, people. Yeah, so yeah, you could get loose at the lips, and I've seen a couple of their lives, you know what I mean. But like I said, at 8:30, I tune out. You know what I mean? I'm not standing around for nobody. That's just part of my program. I actually started watching Gun's other video, but he took it down. For whatever reason, he took it down. That's his business. I thought maybe I was tripping, because I even text him. I said, hey G, hey Carnal, did you take down that video, that live? He goes, oh yeah, he took it down. You know what I mean? He gave me the explanation why, but it's not for me to share, because that was between me and him, and that's one thing I don't do. I don't pillow talk, and I'm not going to. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of goes the same way like when I'm with my homeboys. You know what I mean? If I got a homeboy that's speaking on another homeboy right there, I tell the homeboy, I pump the homie's brakes and say, hey, look, watch out, homie, I got his number right here. Why don't we get him over here so you can tell him yourself? Because I don't get down like that. That's just me giving klecha to other homies that really are lacking that klecha, and that's the way I could guarantee anybody from my hood would do something like that. That's just the way we was brought up. You know what I mean? That's the way we were raised by our older homies. And I was raised by older homies. Like I said, I come from a big family from the hood, and all my brothers and my sisters and my brother-in-laws, all from the hood, and there's a big age difference between us. Yeah. So, but anyways, people, I just wanted to touch on that a little bit. Yes, in the blind eye, there you would think that them two were really getting at it, because that's what you would see. That's what you would hear. Especially, say, if you were in a restaurant and you heard them two going at it like that. That's going to raise some flags. It's going to create something bigger than what it really isn't. You know what I mean? Because the people from around you, the surrounding people, don't know what's going on. Right away, they assume, hey, conflict, tension, something's going to jump. So action would be taken. But now you got to understand, these two individuals right here, I call them the dynamic duo. You know what I mean? And I mean that with the most respect, and they know if they've ever heard this. You know what I mean? They're a good they're good business partners. Let's just put it that way. Their relationship behind the screen, off the screen, is their business. You know what I mean? It's none of anybody's business. It's just like with me and what I do. As a matter of fact, my G. There was an individual that spotted me at the gas station today, right there off of Citrus and Arrow Highway. Hey, my boy, shout out to you, my boy. I should have got your name. leave me a message in the comments, so then tomorrow or the next day when I see it, I'll give you a shout out and put your name out there if you don't mind. G, you know what I mean? Hey, I really appreciate that. I was on a mission. I'm always on a mission, man. Like I said, me, the wife, we jump in our whip and we boogie. Depending where we're going, you know what I mean? Depends what whip we're driving, you know, because, you know, buzz around town, we just buzz around in the little whip and we whip around town. But, you know, when we go long distance, we got to go in more comfort. Well, anyways, people, with that being said, man, this video went on a little bit longer than I expected. But as far as that heated argument between Dubs and Gunner, it's nothing. It was nothing. Those are just two homies. They're homies. Them two homies. They're just had a difference in opinion, and I could see it in both of them. They're very competitive when it comes to being a boxer analyst, I should say. Especially Dubs. Dubs, my boy. Hey, I see it in Dubs. I could picture doing time with Dubs. You know, if we were right there, I could see the way he would be. He would be one of them cats that would be like really competitive. There's a lot of homies out there fairly competitive. I'm competitive myself too, but when it comes to like gambling and shit like that, nah, I don't get involved with that. Why? Because I'm short-tempered. You know, I've learned over the years how to control my temper, because for those of you that know me from back in the day, I'm very short-fused. It runs in my family, very short-fused. And that short fuse, you know, has gotten me into situations that shouldn't have happened, you know, and it is what it is, you know. You know, I can't reverse the hands of times. All I can do today is just make better memories, you know, and start helping people, you know. Because today, that's my passion, man, is to help people change their lives, help them break their limited beliefs, and help them get over struggles that I can relate to. You know, like I said, I've been through it all, from homeless to having nothing, to addicted to drugs, you know, to overcoming disease, medical disease, which was hepatitis C. I was dying, you know, dying slowly, but I overcame it, and I'm doing great now. It's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful, man. It's a great day. Any day above the ground is a great day, people. Well, anyways, people, with that being said, man, if you guys want to get started on your fitness journey, you guys already know, woo-wee, High Power Fitness, baby, high_power_fitness_, or you could email me at highpowerfitness@yahoo.com. And once again, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, put your notification bell on all. When you hit that notification bell, go into your settings and put it on all, okay? Because if it doesn't, it will not notify you of the material that I am dropping. Okay, and let's get this channel to 10,000 subscribers. With the 10,000 subscribers, people, I'm telling you, we will bring the yarda to life. The motherfucking YouTube yarda will become activo, baby. You guys already know. You guys are all welcome. I don't care what you identify as. Just come with respect, and you'll get that respect in return. Now, with that being said, I'm out of here, baby. Sunday, beautiful day. Enjoy it. Let's do this.